The colonies almost all started with both official religions and personal religious freedom. But over time, the ideal of personal religious freedom gained ascendancy. The royal charters which created the colonies almost all had official Christianity in some way as part of the colonial government. But that did not automatically mean the state religion dominated as it did in the Old World. For much of the time, depending on the area, there was little enthusiasm for official state-approved religion, and there wasn't much support from the home country. In 1670, the Anglican Church, the only official state-authorized church in Virginia, had only 19 ministers to serve 35,000 colonists. A study by Rodney Stark shows in 1776 only 17% of the colonists belonged to an official denomination. At the same time, there were surges of revivalist religion. For example, Gilbert Tennent, George Whitefield, and the Great Awakening between 1730 and 1770. But for the most part, these revivalist movements happened outside of the state-approved denominations. This actually helped to erode support for state-enforced Christianity. Official colonial religions also varied widely in their legal enforcement. Puritans in Massachusetts set up an actual godly government with strict godly laws. The result was exactly what you would expect. Puritan Massachusetts executed 4 Quakers, non-state approved, who Massachusetts had banned in 1660, and the only executions for witchcraft in the New World were under Puritan religious law in Salem in 1692 and 1693. Other colonies, like the Virginians, brought their Anglican church with them but were considerably more mellow about personal behavior. The result was a patchwork of colonies, almost all with different versions of official religion. There was no agreement between the colonies on which version of Christianity should control, if any. Rhode Island wanted no part of Massachusetts Puritan law, and neither of those wanted Virginia's Anglicanism. Even when there were religious laws, not many Americans actually lived by them. For example, even though extramarital and premarital sex was illegal, between 1761 and 1800, over a quarter of newly married mothers were pregnant when they got married. That tells you something about how often the laws were ignored. To make enforcing religious laws even more unenforceable, there was no good way for a religious colony to stop different Christians from settling in their colony, and these brought their own denominations with them. Massachusetts tried, banning other Christians, and failed miserably. Purity of the colonial population was simply impossible. There was nothing a colony could do about it. There was no overall colonial parliament. If Massachusetts wanted to force Puritan laws on North Carolina, they would have had to go back to Parliament in England to get a law passed, which was impossible. All of that, combined with other factors, resulted in a new nation whose citizens identified themselves as Christians, who used the same Bible, who had the same 10 Commandments, but who had a host of different Christian denominations, none of whom were powerful enough to dominate the new nation, and most of whom did not even dominate their own state. By 1787, that largely peaceful and equal coexistence of different Christian sects had created the space for a completely secular government.